this calm, step-by-step, in-depth tutorial, we are going to use RankMath Pro to optimize our WordPress website for the search engines. I will be showing you every single setting, feature and possibility within RankMath Pro and explain to you why or when you should use this specific feature. We also will be optimizing pages so you know how that works. The first thing to do, of course, is to get RankMath Pro. To do that, we go to wpressdoctor.com/rankmath. This link is also in the comment section below this video, so feel free to click on that one. And then we are at the website of RankMath, a very powerful SEO plugin. I've made an extensive tutorial about the free version of RankMath, but right now we're going to walk through the entire premium version of RankMath. And trust me, it is a very good investment. There are some big differences between the free version and the premium version of RankMath. For example, the advanced Google Analytics 4 is only in the Pro version. Keyword Rank Tracker, tracked keywords. You can track 500 keywords with the Pro, 10,000 business and agency, even more. Also the Content AI trial with credits, 5,000 credits and even more when you get up a bigger plan. Then you can also track your Google index status, the most advanced schema generator, SEO performance email report, white label them for your clients if you're going with the business. There are so many things inside of this Pro plugin which is really worth your money. Then we go all the way up and I'm going with the Pro version, perfect for bloggers, individuals and solopreneurs. Click on buy. You even get a small discount, which is excellent. Then fill in your email address and your desired payment method, your details. Don't forget to agree with the terms of service and press pay. Then you receive an email from RankMath with your invoice and then you can log in into your dashboard. And the only thing we need to do on our RankMath dashboard is to press on this download button. Click on it. And then we log in to our WordPress website. If you're still logging in using WP Admin, that's not a very safe way, so please watch my tutorial about securing your WordPress website with one of these. And on your dashboard, we go to Plugins, Add New Plugin. Press on Upload Plugin and select the file we've just downloaded from RankMath. And then we press Install Now. Then press this blue button, Activate Plugin. Here we go. Now the RankMath plugin has been activated. Then we can see on the left side this RankMath SEO. Click on this one. Then we're going to connect our account. Press on Connect Account. Because we were already logged in with RankMath, this is the screen we see and we press Activate Now. Welcome to the RankMath First Time Setup Wizard. Select the advanced mode, very important, don't click on easy. I get a lot of comments of people who say, I don't see the options you have. No, it's because you've chosen the easy version, but we're going with the advanced setup wizard. And then we press this big blue button, Start Wizard. Then we need to configure RankMath. The first option we need to select is what kind of website do you have. For context, let me show you what kind of website we're going to optimize. It's a website about mortgage advisory service. So you can call a guy and he will help you selecting the right mortgage for your situation to buy a house. It's an amazing website with a lot of things, beautiful. It works like a charm. So let's get back to RankMath. So maybe your website is a blog, a news site, personal portfolio. In our case, we have a small business site. Then we're going to choose the right business type of your website. It tells Google what kind of organization you have. We have a lot of business types, so maybe your business type is in here. If it's not, like mine, because I'm typing mortgage, it's not in here. Advisory, no. Consultancy, it's not even in there. We do have a real estate agent, but that's not actually where this website is about. So we just go with the professional service as this is the one closest to what I'm offering on my website. If it's completely not in there, then just use organization or local business. And these two depend on if you're operating worldwide or just local in your own community. And in here, we're going to enter in the name of our website. Usually you do your brand name. In our case, I'm going to change the name to Matt's Mortgage Advisory. Why? Mortgage advisory is a term I want to be found on in the search engines. In this case, before I would start my business, I would register this name with the Chamber of Commerce, Mads Mortgage Advisory, or maybe my last name, but it's important that these words are inside of my website name, as that is the main target keyword for my website. So basically, yeah, SEO starts way before you even start your business, and that's pretty important. If you just have a general brand name, that's also fine. You can put it in. We can also work with that and just use SEO landing pages and hierarchy, etc. It's gonna be all right. Then we type in the website alternate name. For example, just Mads Mortgage. It can be an acronym or a shorter name. Then we go to the person and organization name. It should be the same as your website name, or maybe a little bit different if you want to change it in the Google Knowledge panel. Then we're going to upload our logo. Remember, it has to be a squared image and minimum is this size. Click on add or upload file and select your logo that's actually a square like this. Then we're going to cut the title and paste it in as a alt text. Logo, let's talk mortgages, logo, and then we press use this file. And then we scroll down and we're going to add a default social share image. This image is the one that will be shown when people share your website URL via social media or WhatsApp or LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. Then they see an image and a title of your website and a description. In this case, this image is the default image. So if you don't change it per post or per page, this image will be shown. Remember that the image size should be this one. Upload your file in here. In this case, I'm going to upload a file with our keyword inside of it. So the file URL is Mortgage Advisory Mads. It's turned around and then social share, which is fine. And then the alt text could be this, Mortgage Advisory Mads, because the Mortgage Advisory, those two keywords, are most important for my website. Then we're going to press use this file. Here we go. 1200 by 630. Excellent. Then we scroll down and we press save and continue. Then we're going to connect with the Google services. This makes it possible that RankMath will submit our sitemap automatically to Google and also install analytics with our website. It just makes our life a lot easier. So we're going to press connect Google services. Then you get redirected to Google and we're going to click on your account. Then we click on continue. Then we need to manually allow RankMath to create a new Google Analytics account along with its default properties and views, and also view our AdSense data, which is for me perfectly fine. Press on continue. Here we are. After a while, your website will become visible inside of here. If you don't see it yet, hold on just a little bit. It has to call to the API and then it shows in here. Then when your website appears over here, you have to select your country in which you want to rank on or where your target audience is. Now, it doesn't make sense for me to target the whole world, as people in China will never call me for their mortgage advisory. So I'm going to change this to the United States. And then on this very moment, we cannot enable the index status tab, but we'll be doing this later on, as this is included in our Pro license. It will be fetched every 3 days. So that's great. Then scroll down a bit. If you've already created a Google Analytics 4 account, then you can click in here and select the right one. I have already created one in my last tutorial about the free version of RankMath, but this time I'm going to use my personal websites in there and I'm going to create a new GA4 property over there. Yes, we want to create a new property for a new website. If you already have analytics running, select the right property in there. Now RankMath has created a new property, as you can see in my website name, and the data stream is a website. That's actually great. Select the country again to match your target audience, in my case, United States. If you don't want to use a plugin or a function inside of your theme to install the analytics code, just hit this switch and RankMath will take care of everything. It's excellent. If you don't want to use a cookie policy plugin that blocks certain kind of scripts on your website, you can anonymize IP address and also self-host analytic JavaScript file. If you're only using cookies for the analytics, this will work and is perfectly fine with laws and regulations. Another great option is to exclude logged-in users, because you don't want to measure your own visiting habits. They will distort your analytics, especially in the beginning when you don't have a lot of visitors. And then we scroll down And if you have an AdSense account, you can link it over there. It will not generate automatic advertisements for you, so you can easily leave it in there. And then we scroll down to email reports. If you want to receive email reports from how your keywords are doing and analytics, that's excellent. Keep them enabled. Press save and continue. Here we can configure the sitemap of our website. Very important, as this thing will actually tell the search engines what they need to visit and change in their index. In our case, you do want a sitemap, definitely. You do want to include images, yes you do. But for the public post types, you have to select what you're actually using. On this website, I don't have a blog, I only have pages. So I'm going to deselect posts and projects and only put in the pages inside of my sitemap. Why? If I don't have them and I put them in, they still get a different sitemap from RankMath. And that's not necessary, as it will pollute the work of Google, and we just want to make friends with all search engines, so keep them as clean and lean as possible. If you plan on using a blog in the future, don't forget to enable this, or else all your blog posts will not be indexed. Very important. Scroll down, then we have the public taxonomies. If you're using blogs, you definitely must be using categories, so enable this one. If you're using projects, you might be using tags, categories and types. On this very website, I don't use any of these, so I'm going to deselect them all and only have the pages, which is great. Then we scroll down. If you have news on your website that you want to be submitted to Google News, enable this switch and then it will be submitted to Google News. Fill in the publication name and the post type. This website doesn't have any news. Then we go to the video sitemap. If you have videos embedded on your website, you host them yourself, or on YouTube also, this will make sure will not only rank YouTube in the search engines, but also your page from your own website, including that video. That's a big difference. So make sure if you're posting videos in your own website, embedding them from YouTube, to enable this one. Then select where you're embedding your videos, in your posts, pages, or projects, or none of them, or maybe just only on the pages. On this website, I'm not going to use this, so I press save and continue. Then we are at the SEO tweaks. No index, empty category and tag archives. Keep this button enabled. You don't want these search engines to index those empty pages, as they are completely non-relevant and only will make your website have more useless content. And we don't want that. We only want to serve excellent content to the search engines. Then we have the no follow external links. You can turn this on, but then your website will become a dead end, because you tell Google all the links to other websites should not be followed by the Google bots. And search engines really hate dead ends on the internet, so don't enable this option. Here we can open external links in a new tab window. You might be doing this already manually, but when you enable this one, it makes sure that every outgoing link will be in a new tab. Very important to have this enabled. Press save and continue. Excellent, the basics is now ready. Make sure to enable the auto update of the plugin, very important for your security, and they tend never to break your website with RankMath. That is very different from Yoast SEO, as Yoast SEO multiple times broke my websites of my clients because of their updates. It was painful. Press on this blue button, set up advanced options. Here we go. Then we have the role manager. If you have a team working on your website, like editors and contributors, it might be interesting to enable the role manager. Why? You as an administrator can do all things, of course. But then we come to the editor. You might want to disallow the editor from entering the title and meta settings, the sitemap settings, the link builder. That's only for the administrator. But you do want them to see the site-wide analytics and also all the on-page settings in here. You might want to allow them also. Then we have the author and the contributor. You might want to change this per role. If you don't have any other people working on your website, then you can just disable the role manager, as this is completely not useful for your website. Press save and continue. Then we have the 404 monitor. You definitely want this enabled so we can see if there are broken or dead links coming through your website. This way you can also redirect them in the right way. RankMath comes with their own redirection module, which is really powerful, so we don't need another plugin to do this for us. This works absolutely amazing and it's not included in most SEO plugins. Then we press Save and Continue. Then we are at the schema markup. This section contains 3 types of schema markup for your posts, pages, or projects. If you have custom types, it will also be shown in here below. Now, all these types, you can change the schema type for it. For example, your post is articles. We don't have any posts, so I'm going to change them to none. And then we have pages, but maybe you have articles or books of one of these schema types we can use for your blog posts. If you don't see anything in here, but you do have blog posts, choose article. You can still change your blog post per post to change the right schema type. So no worries there. Then we go for pages, we do the same thing. You know that all your pages are not articles and not all your pages are books or courses or services. Some of them might, but a contact page is not a service or a restaurant or a recipe. It's not. So we're going to use none, and then we can change them per page if we need to. Also for projects, we can set one or just choose none. As we don't have any posts, I'm also going to use none for posts. Press Save and Continue. All right, congratulations, we have set up the setup wizard. I'm going to walk you through all these things on the dashboard so you can set up your website completely like a pro for the search engines. And after that, we're also going to walk through all these options on the left side so we don't miss anything. And after that, we're going to optimize pages so you know exactly what to do and how to rank your landing pages, but also your normal pages for the search engines. We're going to start with the Content AI. If you don't want to use AI at all, you can disable this, but you get 750 free credits inside of your Pro license every single month. So we're going to check this out. Go to Settings. Then we get redirected to the general settings, Content AI, so you know exactly where we are right now. Then we can choose the Content IA. Here we can get suggestions for related keywords, questions and links to include in your SEO meta and content area. Very nice. In here you can choose the default country. Well, what we need to do is of course change this again to the country your target audience is. In our case, the United States. Then we go to the default tone of our AI guidance. Very important. Are you a factual website? Formal, friendly, humorous, informal? You can choose all these things you want to have on your AI settings. In our case, as this is a mortgage advisory website, it's spinning around one office. You might want to choose formal, but I like to use a different kind of tone, which is more persuasive. Well, we just have to see how this works out. Here we can change the default audience. We can change this to all kinds of audiences in here, which will actually use the AI to really write their content to this specific target audience. If your audience is in here, for example, you have a tech website, you can choose the tech enthusiasts. For this website, mortgage advisory website, there is not actually a real target audience for that one. So we're just going to go with the general audience. The default language should be your language. Of course, it's US English. And then we can use this post type to use it on. Well, this is just great. Keep it like this. If you, of course, want to use AI, we have to pay for it because all these things are not free, but we get 750 credits free within our Pro license per month. So this might be enough. We'll see that when optimizing our pages, and that's pretty awesome. But if you need more credits, you can of course buy more credits. Just press on this button, and then we are over here. We can buy these starter, creator, or expert bundles, which buy us more credits, 30,000, 12,000, or 5,000. Once we have done it, we press Save Changes. Great. Let's head back to our dashboard in here. All right, we've talked about the Content AI. Then we go to the next one, 404 Monitor. If we click on Settings in here, we can go to General Settings, 404 Monitor. In here, we can use the Simple mode or the Advanced mode. The difference is that the Advanced mode creates a lot of details inside of your database. This can add up if you have a really big website. So if you do have a very big website, you might want to start with Simple, fix all the things that you see in your 404 Monitor, and then you can switch to Advanced. Or else, well, these logs tend to get really big if you have a lot of visitors, and that ultimately slows down your database, slows down your website, and then we have bad rankings because of a slow website. We don't want that. So in this case, we're gonna keep it on advanced because this is a brand new website with not a lot of visitors, so we can use this one. Then in here, we're going to change the log limit. It's set the max numbers of rows in your log. 100 is perfectly, keep it like this. If you have a lot of 404 errors, you definitely want to max the number of logs. Then we scroll down. Here you can exclude paths, might be useful if you have some kind of system that's constantly putting 404 errors inside of it, then you can exclude them over here. And here you can choose to ignore query parameters. If you're a developer, you want to disable this to see exactly what's going on and triggering the 404. If you're a normal user, you don't know what query parameters are, just keep this enabled. Press Save Changes. Back to our dashboard. Then we go to the next one, Advanced Custom Fields. If you have that plugin running on your website, this is enabled and you can configure it even more inside of the module of RankMath. We're not going to do this in this tutorial, as I will talk about Advanced Custom Fields in another tutorial and also including the SEO settings for this one. The same applies for the Accelerated Mobile Pages plugin. I don't think that Google is still using this a lot and preferring it, but if you're using it, you can enable this one and then you can set things up with the SEO settings on EMP. If you don't have it, just keep it off and go to Analytics. Press on Settings. Then we are here and we can see the green light on the Search Console. That means it also has been verified with Google that we are the owners of this website because of our analytics code being added to our website right now. We're going to enable the Index Status tab. Very important things to see if our pages or posts are already indexed by the search engines. Scroll down. The analytics, we have already configured it, which is excellent. AdSense, also the same. But now we can also scroll down a little bit further. Here we can configure how many of the data from analytics will be stored in our website's database. If you put in 90, they will do 180 days because then you can compare them with the last 90 days. So the maximum allowed days are 180, so that is 6 months, but it will keep 1 year inside of it, but you cannot compare it to last year. That's something I would like to see improved, but your database will get really big. Why do I want to compare it with last year? Because we have seasons. And during the holiday seasons, your visitors are acting a lot more differently than from this summer season when everyone's on vacation. So we're gonna keep this on 90 days as the analytics data from our website is interesting, but the website on analytics is more interesting to compare with last year. But feel free to ramp it up a little bit. Then we scroll down, then we are at the front end stats bar. This is an entire bar that will be displayed when editing pages or posts. You can turn it off and on while editing, but it takes a lot of space inside of your screen. However, the information is pretty interesting. So we're gonna keep this enabled. You can always disable it if you don't like it. If we scroll down, we go to the email reports. Here we can configure if you want to receive the SEO performance reports, which are great to receive and to send to your clients or just for yourself to walk through them and see what's happening. If you don't want them, just turn it off like this, but actually I do, so I'm gonna keep it on. And if you see too much information inside of your reports that you don't want, you can include only tracked keywords because those are interesting to you. But I want to see it all. Press Save Changes, go back to your dashboard in here. Then we've talked about the first row, excellent job. Then we also have bbPress. If you have the bbPress forum activated, this thing will be activated. Also with BuddyPress, if you don't have it, that's great. Then we have image SEO. We do want to enable this one and we want to go to settings because images and optimizing it, very important for Google. What we want to do is add missing alt attributes. Yes, please, we want this. Why? Because sometimes you just forget, or maybe you've just built your entire website and you totally forget about the alt attributes. The alt attributes is actually created to let people that are blind, let the screen reader tell them what this image is about. But it's also used for search engines to tell and help them to see what this image is about. Don't get confused because search engines will recognize your images because we have AI now and it completely understands everything there is on an image. However, we still used to fill it in as is just a good practice with SEO, and the more good practices we use, the higher our website will rank. For the missing alt attributes, we can use the file name for our alt attributes. Only use this if you have changed your file names to reflect your SEO keywords. Like I did when creating this website. If you followed my tutorial, you can see when you click on one that this file name is actually House Mortgage Contact 1. So we're talking about houses and mortgages again. Also on here, the Houses on the Hill mortgage.jpg. I've already put in the alternative text, but if your file names are correct, then we can use this option in Rank Math. So to use your file name as the alt attribute, your file names should be good. If they are not, you can also use the image title like this. Could also be great. If your file name is not great, remove it and then use the image title. If you didn't even change your image title, then there's another trick we can do. What you should do then is use the file name, and before that we type in mortgage advisory, which are the main keywords of my website, and then the file name. So then you always get mortgage advisory and then the file name itself. This should only be used one time now when setting it up and you didn't optimize your images before. Then you can use this. Or else, just go inside of your library and change all the images manually, re-upload them with the right file names, and you can do that one, or you can just use the shortcut like this. And then whenever you create new content or upload new images, make sure the file name is SEO friendly. Alright, then we scroll down for the next option, add missing title attributes. Now this is disabled by default because most themes tend, when you hover over your image, show your title attributes. So that's why it's disabled. And from an SEO standpoint, I don't think this really adds to your value. So just keep it disabled. Then we can also add missing image captions. I would not advise you to do so, as this will cause all kind of things within your WordPress theme. Some themes display them below them, some themes will not display them. I don't think you want this. This also applies to the add missing image descriptions. Then when we scroll down, we can change the casing for titles, alt attributes, descriptions, and captions. These are all the same. You can change them to title casing, sentence, lowercase, uppercase. Can be useful if someone put in all captions and you don't want that. Then a very nice feature, you can add alt attributes to avatars. If you have a lot of comments on your website and people using a lot of gravatars, you can enable this one, and then their username will be used as a alt text. And then we have a very powerful and unique to Rank Math feature that you can replace, for example, titles with one and the other. This can be used very useful. What if I sell the business and it's going from Matt's to Johnny's advisory company? Like this, you can do all the alts, any captions, any title, and just press save changes, and then it will be replaced throughout all your images data. Very useful. Then we press save changes. Then we go back to our dashboard. All right, we've talked about all these things. Then we go to the next one, instant indexing. Very nice feature. Here we can insert manual URLs to send to the Index Now API. Actually, you don't need to put them in manually, because when you go to settings in here, you can let Rank Math auto submit them to this API, which works great. Here you need to select again what type of post you want to send in. Well, we only have pages on this website, so I'm just gonna only include pages. The API key and the location are great, so we'll just keep it in there. Press Save Changes. Go to History, and here we can see the last 100 Index Now API requests. For now, no submissions yet, as I have not created any new content or changed content since we are setting up Rank Math. Go back to the dashboard, and then we can see that there is a link counter. The link counter counts the total number of internal and external links from your entire website. Keep this on, we need this later on. Then we scroll down and we go to local SEO. Press on settings in here. Then we can use the Rank Math contact info shortcode to display it on a page. Now let's first fill this in, and then we can use the shortcode so you can see how it looks. First we need to choose, are we a person or a organization? Well, in this case we are an organization, but if you have a personal website, change it to person. The website name, of course, well, we're gonna remove this slash. I think I made a mistake somewhere, that's okay. Just remove the slash. And then we have Mass Mortgage Advisory. Alternate name, Matt's Mortgage. Great. Organization name, of course, the logo and the URL. And we can use multiple locations in here. RankMath will create a new custom post type called locations, and then we can fill it in. We're going to do that in just a minute. Now we're going to just use one address and one location. First, we need to fill in your email. And this email address should not be your personal email address, but the email address visitors can use to send you a mail. For example, info@mortgagedivi.com, like this, or maybe support or whatever. Then you fill in the address or where your business is located, and the address format is great. Business type, we already changed it. Then we can use the opening hours. Fill in the hours you're actually using. For we are closed on Sundays and Saturdays, we're going to remove them, and then we have this beautiful timetable, which is great. Adjust them to your needs. Then we scroll down. Opening hours format should be used in 24 hours or maybe 12 hours if that's more logical in your area. Here we can add in phone numbers, for example, customer service, technical, billing, sales, everything you need, you can add it in here. Let's add in a customer service. And I also want to have a sales. And let's also add in one number, which is the emergency. If you have a problem with your website, just call the WPress doctor. Then we can add in the price range. The price range is always a little thing confusing for business owners. If you have this one, it's very cheap. This one, it's more, and this one is absolutely above your pay grade. It still works this way, but let's use just $2 signs. Then we can add in a Google Maps API key. It's required to display your Google Maps on your website. We can do this with this one. I would suppose you use your theme for this and just add in an embedded map from Google Maps. It's way more easier than to get an API key. And also with the API keys, if you have a lot of visitors, you actually need to pay for every time your map will get fetched. So that's why I actually never use the Google Maps API key using this method. Here you can fill in your geo coordinates for your business. If you have them, you can fill it in. Then we can select the About page. Very important. If you have an About page, just type in About, and then we have an About Us page. I've created one. Contact page, the same. You can just type in Contact, and then you can see the contact page if you have one. And I definitely advise you to have an About Us page and a contact page. Then we press Save Changes. Now we can use this shortcode. So we're going to copy this. Then on my contact page, I'm going to add in a new module. Text or code module or whatever you're using. And then we place in the RankMath contact info shortcode. Save it. Let's see how it looks. And here you can see how it looks on the front end of our website. Excellent. Let's now go over here and add in multiple locations like this, because maybe you have more locations. Then we're going to press on Save over there. Then we have a new option on the left side called RankMath Locations. If we click on all RankMath locations, you can see that there are none yet. But if you want to add more locations, I first advise you to go to the categories in here. So we can add, for example, all locations per state. So let's use Alabama and press Add Locations category. But we also have the state of New York. Add them in. All right, then we go to Add a New Post. And then you can use the block editor. So first thing we're going to do is add in a title. The title is the name of the business location. For example, maybe in New York, we have somebody called John's Mortgage Advisory, like this, or Matt's Mortgage Advisory in New York. Could be anything like it. Then we're going to press on the plus icon in here, and you search for the local business by RankMath. Click on it and add it in over there. That's great, just keep it. Then the next step is we go over here and we press on this RankMath icon. Let's first put in some focus keyword. Now I will explain focus keywords later on when we're optimizing pages, but for now just fill here in New York and press somewhere else. And there we go. Then we go over here on this icon is the schema markup. Press on schema generator and then we click on local business. The name is already filled out, it is your title, so it's going to be Matt Mortgage Advisory New York. If that's okay with you, just keep it like this, or else you can change it. Then the business type is local business. Then we can use the local business block in Block Editor. We've already added it in, or copy and paste this in your content. So you can use this, copy it, and paste it anywhere you want in your content of your website. Then we scroll down. If you have a beautiful photo from your store or your office on the front side, upload it to your media library and paste in the URL over there. Great. If you have an email address that's different from this store or this office, you can fill it in over here. For example, New York at mortgagedivvy.com. Then we need to fill in the street address, your locality, region, everything about your business. We're going to fill it in right now. Something like this. And fill in the geo coordinates if you have them. We're going to change our primary number, and maybe you also have a secondary number. You can put it in over there. If you also still use a fax machine, put your number in over there. And if your FAT ID, tax ID, Chamber of Commerce ID could be useful to fill it in. And then the price range in which you are. Then the currencies accepted. We are in the USD, and payments, Visa. We also accept PayPal inside of our store, and we also use Bitcoins. And we've served in New York. Then we can add in our opening hours. You can use 24 hours format and add property group over there. And then we have the local opening hours, because they might differ from your other stores. You can change them. Click on Wednesday, for example, choose your opening time, closing time. It all works like this. And then you need to select the time zone of your local business. In our case, we're in US Pacific. And we press save for this post, but you can also choose to save as a template. When you click on this one, then when you open up a new local business, you can use your templates. That will save you a lot of time. When it's all good, you press on save for this post. Here we go, press publish. And now the information is right there. This is the way you can add multiple stores or offices inside of your WordPress website. Really useful. All right, let's get back to WordPress. Go over here. Then we go to Rank Math SEO to the dashboard. Then we go back to local SEO in here. Then we're going to pick up where we left. So we scroll down. I show you how to use multiple locations. This is the way you can put them in there. Then you have your email. Search engine will display your email address. So you can change this, for example, to info@, that's great, or some other general email address. Don't use your personal email, as you will get spam on that one. You can change the address format. This is okay for my region where I am. So this is excellent. Opening hours format, 24 hours or 12. Again, you have to choose the format which your audiences uses. You can hide your opening hours. I don't know why you want that, but that's possible. Then you have a closed label. You can change this, for example, when you're just closed for renovation, or you're just closed for the summer, for example, you can change this in here. Then we have the open 24/7 label, 24-hour labels. You can change all those. Then you have the measurement system. Just choose the one that your target audiences use. My target audiences uses miles, as they are in the United States. Then you have the map style, of course, from Google Maps. Just choose the one that you like best. Then we have the maximum number of locations to show. You can limit the number to show on your website to those nearest your user. I would suggest you put it on 5 if you have a lot of locations on your business. They will save time to load them in, and also your visitors don't really want to know every single location around the entire world, around or in the United States, if they wanted to visit you. Here we need to choose our primary country to where your target audience is, in this case the United States of America. Then we scroll down and we can change the show route label. You can change it for, now it is my route, but you can also change it to calculate a route or show me the way or something like this. It's completely up to you. Then we have the location detection. If you put this on, it will automatically detect the user's location. You might get a pop-up when you do that. The browser will say, this website wants to see your location. I would suggest you can turn it on if you're on for example, a pizza website and you need to find the closest pizza near you. But if you're just a small team with one office, this is completely unnecessary. If you have multiple offices around the country, like 20 plus, then it can be interesting. Until then, it's a real conversion killer, another pop-up that people will see. Then we need to enable this switch if all of your locations are part of one entity. You can also have enhanced search include business locations in site-wide search results. This is when people use the search box on your website and they type in, for example, New York, then also the search system of WordPress will use your RankMath locations. If you don't want that because you don't have a lot or people don't use the search box, just keep it disabled. Here you can embed your Google Maps API key, already talked about that one. You can also add in your geo coordinates of your main office, your main building, your headquarters, add it in over there. Scroll down. Here we can change all the location post type base. Locations, you can change this, for example, to offices, and then this will change to offices and then the country or whatever you want. In my case, locations is great. Then we have the category base. Locations category is what it is right now. You can change it over here if you want to. If you don't know, just keep it like this. It's great. If you want to change this label over here, you now see RankMath locations. Well, you can also change it just to locations. And then we have locations post type name. Again, use it as locations. The about page and contact, we already put it in. Press save changes now. And then you can see that on the left side, it has been changed to locations, or you can change it to offices or whatever you want. Then get back to the dashboard. All right, and then we scroll down. We went on local SEO and then we go to News sitemap. If you have News on your website, enable this one, of course, and then you can configure your News sitemap. If you don't create News, then just leave it off. Also the same with podcast. If you have a podcast plugin, you can enable this one. And then you can go into the settings and make sure that your podcasts are well found within search engine. Then we have the redirections. If we go into settings over there, we are here at general settings, redirections. This is not the place where you can create redirections or manage them. No, these are just the settings. You have debug redirection. If you enable this one, then you won't see an actual redirection, but you will see the debug console. Very useful if you bump into problems with redirection. Then we have the fallback behavior. If nothing similar is found, this behavior will be applied. So you can go to the default 404 page, redirect to your home page, or use a custom redirection. I would suggest you use the default 404 page so you can measure the 404s, know where they are, and change them and fix them. And it also sends out a strong message to my visitors because I've created 404 pages on my website to show them something is wrong. Here we can change the default redirection type. You have different kinds of them. The normal is the permanent move. If you want to move something temporary, you can change it to 302, 307, or maybe a 410 or 451, but most used is 301 permanent move. Then we have a very powerful feature which is a auto post redirect. If you enable this one, when you change a slug of a post or page, it will be automatically redirected to the new one. This is a powerful feature, but also things can go wrong. Especially when multiple people are working on the same website. Sometimes they change URLs and then you get a redirection loop. If that happens, and it will if you have multiple people working on the same post because they keep changing URLs, then RankMath will every time make new redirects inside of the redirection tool. I'm going to show you the redirection tool later on in this tutorial. It's over here at redirections. And in a few minutes, I will be covering this entirely so you know exactly how to change them, fix them, and create new ones. Press on Save Changes, and then we go to the dashboard. We scroll down, and we go to Schema Structured Data over there. If we press on Settings, we've already enabled the schema markup for our different kind of posts, but here you can change everything if you need it. For example, over here we have the schema type, and you can change the schema type of all posts, the general. Of course, you can change them per post. We're going to do that later on, but here you can change the default schema type. Then we get back to dashboard as that was everything we can do in there. All right, scroll down. We have the schema, we had one, and then we have the role manager. If you enable this one and you go to settings, you can see The same thing I have shown you before, just all the roles of WordPress and all the capabilities and permissions they have in regards to Rank Math. I'm going to turn it off for this website. And then we are at the SEO Analyzer. Then Rank Math will technically analyze your website on specific kind of things. Let me show you how this works. Go to settings in here. And if you now start analyzing your website, you will see over here that we have all kind of tests that Rank Math has been doing on your website. Then if we scroll down, we can see the basic SEO in here. This is of your homepage only. So we need to first optimize our homepage, and then this is interesting. If you scroll down, we can go to advanced SEO over there. You can see canonical tags, no index meta. All these things are pretty good. Performance, image headers, page objects, all these things are actually good, but we need to analyze this again once we have updated our homepage, and we can see that we're all in the green over there, because if this is your homepage, this will not work in search engines. We're going to do that in just a second. Let's get back to our dashboard. Then we have the sitemap settings. If you go to settings, you can see again all the sitemap settings that we've already done, but you can change them in here. Also include featured image and exclude posts and terms. But they're all good, so we're gonna keep it like this. Then we go back to our dashboard and we go to the last ones. We have the video sitemap, which is exactly the same, but then for videos. Then we have Google Web Stories. If you're creating Google Web Stories, then this one can be enabled because it's a dedicated WordPress plugin and it works seamlessly with Rank Math Pro. So that's great. And the last module on your dashboard is for WooCommerce. If you have a WooCommerce website, this one is enabled and we can fine-tune all the settings of our WooCommerce web shop. I don't have this on this website, so we're just gonna scroll all the way up and we go to the next tab, which is Help. In the Help tab, we can see that our account is successfully activated and you can disconnect it if you want so. And there are also some interesting articles found on the Rank Math website. If you click on the Setup Wizard, we can start the entire wizard again, but we don't want that, so I press on Back. And here we have the Import and Export feature where you can import all your settings to this website. Maybe you're deploying a lot of sites, then the basics of SEO might be useful to import them all in once. And here you can export them, of course. Here you can also import SEO metadata for post terms and users from a CSV file. First you have to export the CSV over here, press on Export or use advanced options. You can choose what you want to export and then you can send it to some SEO specialists who can work in the CSV file because maybe you don't want them to work on your website, or it's just faster to work in a CSV file instead of your website itself. Could be. It's all possible with Rank Math Pro. We also have in here other plugins. I have used this when you're moving from Yoast SEO to Rank Math. I've created a tutorial over there which you can use to debug some problems and import all your data from Yoast to Rank Math. It works flawlessly if you follow the steps. And here you can create a backup of all the settings if you want it. Let's press on Create Backup and then we have created one and you can restore it or delete it or save it somewhere. All right, that was everything from our dashboard. Well done, we have now covered every single aspect of our dashboard. But I didn't cover all the menu items on the left side. They are very interesting, so let's start with Content AI. Click on it. And the first thing we'll notice that we get a little present over here. Thank you for choosing Rank Math. Enjoy 750 credits monthly for life. Well, thank you very much, Rank Math. Now we can use them. All right. In here we find 44 tools with Content AI creation. This is really insane how much effort they put in this. This actually makes your life as a blog writer very easy, but not only for blogs. We can already also create company bios, job descriptions, testimonials, entire tweets, YouTube video scripts, video description, podcast outline episodes. It's really insane. I'm going to show you just one so you get the feeling about how this works and how to use it. For example, let's generate a couple of blog post ideas. So we're going to click on this and describe your industry niche. All these steps are almost every time the same in all different kind of modules inside of the Content AI tools. So our industry niche is the mortgage industry, like this. The more we put in, the better it works. For example, I have described my website like this, and I think the AI can work with this one. Then select your audience. Is it a general audience or do you have a special audience? There are a lot of them, so just choose the one which this blog is supposed to be for. In our case, general audience. The tone, you can change it to all kind of tones, whatever you want. We want to have formal and friendly a little bit. Then we can select the style of this blog post. Should it be a case study, opinion, news, personal storytelling, or just choose whatever you want. In our case, I am very interested in a FAQ and also a case study. And we want it in English. Now here you can select how many outputs you want because every output costs you credits. So let's go with 5 outputs and press generate. We're just going to wait a second until the AI is going to generate 5 ideas for new blog posts. Interesting. I might just select only one because I don't like the case studies at all. So let's not use a FAQ, but let's use a opinion and press generate more. Now, this is something we can work with. This is great. Finding your perfect home loan match, why is worth the investment? I would change this website to Surface. How a mortgage advisory service can meet your specific financial needs. Really great. So if you want to use this one, just press on copy, and then we can go over here to close it, and then we can go to posts and add a new post with everything, all the ideas. If you now go back to blog post ID and we click on history, then we can find all the ideas that are previously generated by the content AI. This is actually really good and it works flawlessly. So in here you can create way more than that. You can create blog post outlines, introductions, conclusions, titles, paragraph, like everything you ever need. So you can create all your content using the content AI, which is, I think, extremely extensive. So RankMath Pro did a really good job with the content AI. If you now go to the content editor, they have actually integrated RankMath AI tools even better with Gutenberg, so you can create your content inside of this screen instead of going to the post, create a new post. I can see the benefit of this because when creating a post using WordPress itself, you have to click on this one and then you have to click on this one, just a little bit more clicks. But again, you can just change this and go to your history, and you also can insert it in here. And this is almost the same, but the content AI editor is just a little bit more easier to use. So that's why RankMath created the content editor to create your content straight from RankMath itself. And that can be very useful. If you want me to do a full tutorial about how to get the most out of content AI, drop it down in the comments. I can always create an extensive tutorial only about this because this is so much. You can even create emails and Facebook and Instagram posts. I mean, that is way more than just some simple SEO AI tool. Wow. Amazing. Then you can also go to chat in here, and here we can chat with the RankBot, our personal assistant. This is really great. Why is this so great? Well, we can use RankBot for simple questions like how do backlink affect SEO, why is keyword research important, etc., etc. But you can also use this as an AI bot for interesting content. For example, I'm going to ask the RankBot to show me a table of different kind of mortgages in the USA with all differences compared. Let me see how this works. Here we are. Now this is some good content that we can use inside of our blog post or pages, and the RankBot actually works like an AI personal assistant. However, I don't know if these are all correct, so always make sure to check them if they are correct, but you know about your niche if that works. So I think the RankBot could be a real personal ChatGPT assistant, for example, but then inside of RankMath, so this works great. And then if we go to history over here, we can see all the posts that the AI sent us back using the AI tools, not from the chat, but everything we've created from the AI tools. Great. Let's go back to the next one, analytics. In the analytics tab of RankMath, you can see your overview of your search traffic, impressions, optimization, and it will gather all these data from Google Analytics and the Search Console. In the right side, you can change the amount of days you want to see. And here you can see your top winning keywords, tracked keywords, and the positions of your keywords, which is excellent to have inside of your website. Also, this analytics is on your dashboard. If you go to your dashboard, you can see the Rank Math overview, which is actually the same as the analytics tab. This is just a little bit more information, everything you want to see from your Google Analytics data. So very useful. And we have to use this often to see how our website is performing. As you can see now, we have 8 pages or posts with no data at all. Now, if you click on this one, you will go to the site analytics. In here, we can see of all pages and all posts on our website, what the score is, what the schema is, how many links there are, every bit of useful information. We will come back to this when we've optimized our entire website, so you can see how this score actually looks. Really great. The next step is the SEO performance. In here, we can see the performance of our SEO. Of course, it gathers these information from Google Analytics and again, Google Search Console. Very interesting to look at all these things after we've optimized the entire website. Also the keywords. This is your go-to place to see how your keywords are performing on your website and how the SEO traffic is working. This is great. Then we go to Rank Tracker. In here, we can add in keywords. So we press on Add. We're going to track the keyword, for example, mortgage advisory, and we press Save. But we also want to add more. We also want to add mortgage, and you can just fill in the keywords that are fit for your own website. In our case, mortgage advisory, but also the local mortgage advisory. Where were we at again? Washington, like this. Then you can just add in all the keywords that you want to rank on. And especially when we're creating landing pages with all different kind of topics generated by the AI ideas, or maybe you have some ideas of your own, we can track them all in here. Now, you can also press this button, Auto Add Focus Keywords. If you click on this one, you can enable it, and then it will insert all the focus keywords of all your posts and your pages. This is a great starting point from which you want to build out your keyword manager. Now, let's use all the pages and also the posts, if you have one, and press Save Settings. Now, no new focus keywords were found right now, but if we start to optimize our website, all those focus keywords will be added in there. Great feature, I love it. If you want to change the layout of your columns, you can click in here and change them with all these options. Let's go to Index Status. This is a very useful tool, as we're about to see. If we scroll down, we can see that 6 pages are excluded and only 2 are submitted and indexed. If we scroll down, we can see that the status of our content is excluded, all of them. When you click on this, you can see the Google URL is unknown to Google. Why? Because it's excluded and it's not available. Why is this? Well, if you see this, that is all of them excluded, there might be something else going on. Go to Settings and go to Reading in there. Open link in a new tab. And we can see that I have turned this on. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. Disable this one and press Save Changes. Setting saved. Now we have enabled the crawling. It will take a couple of days until all these pages are being indexed by Google. And that would give us the time to optimize our website. All right, let's go to the general settings over there. In the general settings, we can see all the settings, and many of them we've already talked about, but not all. For example, the links. The first thing you can do is remove the category base from category archive URLs. If you create a lot of blogs, you really want to enable this one. Why? Else you will see this, your website /category and then again /my category. That is so useless. This entire category strip should be removed from WordPress a long time ago. I don't know why it's still in there. I'm glad that Rank Math actually fixes this problem for us. So this is excellent. Turn this on if you're using blogs and categories. Then we can redirect all attachment page URLs to the post they appear in. Do this, enable this, keep this on. This is great. Then we have orphan attachment, because if you upload things to your website, like images, PDF files, and they are orphaned because they don't have a page or post anymore, then it will be redirected to the home page. Excellent. keep this enabled. You don't want this and nofollow external links, or else your website will become a dead end on the internet. And that means no search engine will like your website, as no one likes dead ends. Then we have the nofollow image file links. If you use a lot of images from other servers, you can enable this one. I do not advise you to use images from other websites. It's just a bad practice. But if you do in some kind of reason why, then you should enable this one. All right. And then you can also specify them for specific domains, the nofollow, or exclude domains and use them on everything. That's even possible with these options. Then we can open external links in new tab. Yes, keep this enabled, the best practice you can do. And then we have the affiliate link prefix. This is very useful, for example, on my website, as I send a lot of people throughout affiliate links. Then you can add there your prefix, for example, go, and then, for example, RankMath. It's not on my website, but you can use this, and then they will not count for internal links in the content analysis. And that's pretty useful, or else your data will get a little bit messed up because all of your affiliate links. Then we press Save Changes. Then we go to the breadcrumbs over here. The breadcrumbs are really useful. We have to enable this one, and then we can use the shortcode in here, or just code it straight into your theme. I would not advise you to do so, as most users don't know how this works. And this works just perfectly with Elementor Pro or Divi. They just got their own modules. Just drop them in there or use the shortcode. It works excellent. Let me show you how this works right now. Just copy the entire shortcode. Then we go to one of our pages. So for example, on this page, I want to show a breadcrumb because this is a sub page of my first home. How do we do that? Well, it's pretty easy. You just go in here, add in a code module or text module or whatever you want. Drop it in there, the shortcode, and press save. Now it's over there. We're going to drag and drop it to here. Then we save this page. And then we can see the breadcrumb like this: home, my first home, home buying process. That's where we are right now. Because this is a subpage, as you can see, of first home process is called the home buying process. So this works great. Let us tune it just a little bit. We go to the SEO settings. In here, we can choose the separate character. I like this one, or you can make it custom like this, which also is great, but let's use this one. Scroll down. Then you want to display the homepage breadcrumb in a trail. You can use this. You can use just the home button, but you can also use an icon like this. And then my breadcrumb changes to this house, and then the first page, my first home, and then the home buying process. It's all possible. Then you can change the homepage link to where to go with the first item. Let's go to just the main page. Then we can add in a prefix, and you can put in anything you want in there. For example, you are here. And it looks like this. You are here. And then the entire breadcrumb. Then we have the archive format and the search results format. You can change the labels in the breadcrumbs. So now it will be archives for and then the title. Also for the search results, you can change this to whatever you want. And then we have the 404 label, 404 error, page not found. We can change this to, for example, page not found, for whatever you want. It's not that important. Then you can hide the entire post title from the breadcrumb. I would not advise you to do so, as it is logical to see where you are right now. You can also enable to show all categories. If you have a child category, a category within a category, then enabling this will show them all. Could be useful if you have a lot of categories and subcategories. Then you can also hide the taxonomy name from the breadcrumb itself. If you configured it all the way you want, you can press Save Changes. All right, then we go to the next one, which is images. The missing alt attribute, of course, we've already put that on, so that's great. Then the attribute format, we've already set that up. Missing title attributes, missing image captions and image descriptions. We already talked about that. I would not advise you to use those. Then you can change the casing of all the descriptions and all the things. Already talked about that. Then we can replace them. And well, we've actually talked all about this one, nothing new under the sun. So we can just go up here and go to Webmaster Tools. Here you can enter your Google search verification HTML code or ID. In this case, if you use RankMath to pull things up, you don't have to add it in there because we've already done this in a setup wizard. However, if you also use Bing Webmaster Tools, then you need to put it in over there, because that's not automatically verified. The same applies to Baidu, Yandex, and Pinterest, Norton, SafeWeb, and you can also add some custom webmaster tags in here. I don't know exactly why you should want to do this, but maybe you're a developer and you want to add some meta tags in here, you can put it in over there. All right, scroll all the way up, and then we go to robots.txt. We used to have a physical file called robots.txt where search engine would crawl it, and then they can get this information, user agents, what's not allowed to index, and what is allowed, and where the sitemap is. Very useful, and nowadays WordPress is handling it dynamically, so you don't have an actual robot.txt file. Very useful. There's nothing to do here further, so we go to others. Here we can enable headless CMS support. If you don't know what that is, don't turn it on, you probably don't have it. Mostly it's for developers to, well, control your CMS without the interface. Very useful if you don't like to use an interface, you all want to do it via console. Then we have the show SEO score to visible. Well, I don't think we want to have a badge on the front end of our website. But if you're really proud of it, you can of course enable it, and then you can customize it where you want to show it, how it's supposed to be a circle, square, and all these kind of things. All right, fun feature, but I'm not gonna use it. Then you can add some before content for your RSS feeds and after your content. If you want that and you use RSS because you have news or blogs that are used really a lot, then you might want to add in something over there, but you probably have a dedicated plugin for that. If you don't know what it is, just leave it empty, that's great. Remove media data from RSS feed. You can enable or disable this, whatever you want. And also these variables can be used inside of your RSS feeds and content. All right, let's go back up and we go to blogs in here. Here we can take control of the settings of, for example, the table of contents blog. They're talking about this one, the table of contents by RankMath. It's a very useful content block. If you're creating content for your blog posts, then this will automatically generate titles and where it is, so you can click on it, and it's very good for your visitors, but also for the search engines. In here we can change the title of your entire blog. If you want to call it a different kind of name, you can do it in here. Then you can choose the list style. Do you want to have it non-numbered or unordered? You can change it over here, and then to exclude the headings, because how the table of contents works is every heading inside of your blog post will be another line inside of your table of contents. If you don't like the adding H6 and H5 inside of your table of contents, select them over here and press Save Changes, and then they are excluded every single time from your table of contents block. If you're creating a lot of blocks, this is very useful. All right, save changes, and then we go to edit htaccess file. The htaccess file is not writable, and that's a good thing. Why? htaccess is a very important file, and it's highly targeted by hackers to redirect them or inject spam or all these kind of things. I have secured it with Solid Security Pro. If you want to see that tutorial, go check it out over there. It's a really in-depth, high-quality tutorial that will show you exactly how to secure your entire WordPress website from hackers, but also how to use these passkeys to log in your WordPress website. So we cannot do anything over here. Let's go to Content AI settings. We've already been here because this is just the default settings of Content AI. Let's go to redirections in here. We've already talked about this one. The 404 monitor, we've also talked about this one. And then last one, the analytics. We've already been here and everything's fine here. We've already talked about it. So this is just excellent. All right. We have gone through all the general settings now. Let's go on the left side to titles and meta. Here we can change the global meta settings of our entire website. These are very important. Let me show you how this works. In the robots meta, you can choose to index all your pages and posts. That is the standard settings. That's great. Keep it on index. If you choose no index, nothing of your entire website will be indexed in the search engines by default. So we don't want that. We want to have index. No follow, no archive, no image index, no snippet. All these things are useful if you have a website that you don't want to have indexed in the Google search engines. So we just keep it on index. You can change this per page and per post. That's very useful because you don't want to have certain login pages to be indexed by the search engines. For example, I have a membership on my YouTube channel. If you support me and you buy the membership, you get 2 of my ebooks completely free. So when you start the membership, you get a message which gives you a unique URL and also a secret code. You need to fill in that code in this URL, and then you can access the page to get your ebooks. Now that page is hidden. I don't want it to be indexed by the search engines, so that page is going on no index, no follow, no archive, no snippet, no image index. Also, for example, on your e-commerce website, your cart, your checkout page, you don't want them to be indexed. There's no point in that. Then we scroll down and we have the advanced robot meta. This is all good, don't change it. No index empty categories, we talked about it, use it. And then we have the separator character. This is important. Why? This is the title of your website right now. You want to change the separator character, for example, to a pipe. I like the pipe. Some people use the dots, others use this one, but I definitely like the pipe in my title, so I'm going to use this one, global standard for my entire website. Then you can capitalize titles. I always turn this off because I'd like to have full control over my titles inside of my post on my page, and I don't like it to always be capitalized. Sometimes yes, most of the time no. Especially when my target audience is a little bit older and it's a very serious topic like mortgages. Alright, then we have the Open Graph thumbnail. That's excellent. Then you have the Twitter card type. You can choose, do you want to have a summary card with a large image or just a summary card. Hey, it's not called Twitter anymore, RankMath. You need to update this. Here you can add in our custom image watermarks. Very useful if you are, for example, a photographer showcasing all your pictures in your portfolio and you're afraid that people will steal them, copy them. Then you can add in your watermark over there and choose where you want to show your watermark. Very useful, so you don't need another plugin to do this for you. It can all be done in RankMath. Excellent. Then you have the default thumbnail watermark. If you don't have a custom image mark, you can use a play icon or a GIF icon, or just turn it off. In our case, I would turn it off because we don't have photographs and I'm not afraid people stealing it, because all these images are already copyright free. Press Save Changes. Then we go over here to local SEO. Well, we've already been there, so this is great. All these settings we have already talked about. Then we go on the left side to social meta. Here you can fill in all your social media accounts to your website, so that's added to the website schema and Open Graph. Here you can enter your Facebook page URL. If you have a page, fill it in over there. But this authorship is very different. This is if you are an author of different kind of blogs or posts, you can add your personal Facebook profile over here. Then Facebook authorship will be shown when you're sharing your links on Facebook, for example. And if you scroll down, we have the Facebook admin numeric user ID, the app and the secret. If you're working with Facebook apps, you can fill them in all over there. If you don't use them, don't fill in your Facebook admin app or secret because you don't have it. It's irrelevant for you. Also with Twitter username, it's X. If you are the author, you can add it in and it will be added into post that you have written. Very useful. Also, you can add some additional profiles as in the same as schema property. All right, let's scroll up again and then we go to our homepage. RankMath is saying if you want to change this, go to you edit your page home and there you can change it. We're going to do that in just a minute. Hold on. You can change the post formats in here. Here we have the format archive titles. So this is the example of the title in the search engine. Then you have the format archive description. Just the description, you can change it per archive title, so that's great. And then when you scroll down, we can change the meta defaults, and the format archives are standard on no index. Why is that? Well, your archives are huge if someone searches for it, or if you're, well, it's just gigantic, so you don't want to index it as it's all duplicate content for your website's content. All the content show in your archives, and you don't want to send that also to the Google search engine because you just want to send your pages and posts directly to them. All right, and all these things are good. And then we have the Slack enhanced sharing. When someone shares your website on Slack, it will have some benefits. So keep this turned on. Then we go all the way up and we go to authors in here. The author archives. They are standard on enabled, but if you don't have different kind of authors creating blog posts on your website, turn this to disabled. Why? There's no use in indexing author data if you're just only one author. It's completely irrelevant. If you do want to enable this one, then you get a new author path in your URL, and after that comes the usernames of your website. Then we can choose to no index them or as your titles, descriptions, and the SEO controls. I would say we disable the entire author archives. If you're just only one and you don't paste a lot of posts, even if you have a big team and you don't make blogs on your website, keep this disabled. And then we go to the next one, MISC pages. Then we have date archives. They are standard on disabled. So you get this one, your name, and then the year and the month of when your post was published. I would really keep this on disabled because it is all duplicate and low effort content because it's just all the same as your original post. So just keep them disabled. Then we go to the 404 title. This is just the title inside of your web browser from the 404 page. You can, for example, change this to "this page was lost" or whatever you want in there. You can change it over there. It's not that important. It's just a really small tweak. And if you like to change it, you can. This won't make the difference in the number 1 place or the 2nd place. And then we have some other search result title, which is great. No index search result. Keep this enabled, very important. No index subpages. I should disable this one. Paginated single pages should be turned off. And then no index password protected pages. This one is a good one. I just made the example a few minutes ago. And if you enable this one, it will standard no index them. And I think that's a very good idea because there's nothing on that page only but use the password to log in here. So I would keep it on no index. Then we scroll up and we go to different kind of post types. Of course, post, pages, attachment, projects, and locations. All the settings inside of these things are actually the same, as you can see. So I'm going to walk through one of them and then we can discuss the differences between the different kind of post types. In the post type, you can see your post title and your post description. This is the standard global title and description, but we will always change it when we're optimizing a unique page or post. So these settings could actually be great. But if you want to change, for example, your site name because you don't want this inside of it, but you cannot change your site name, then you can type, for example, in here, Matt Mortgage Advisory, like this. And then you can see that the default title of your post will be this. The title of your page, the separator, and then this title. Here we can change a single post description. It is actually based on the excerpt. So that's the standard, but you can always override it per post when you want to. Then we have the default schema type, auto-detect video, auto-generate image. You can do that from the video if you have it. If you use a lot with video, this can be useful. You can choose to choose custom robots meta for every single post, but that's not necessary because this is all good. So we're gonna keep this off. Then we have link suggestions. Also with the pillar content feature, we're gonna show this in just a minute when we're going to optimize a page. And then you can see what the link suggestion is. Then you have the link suggestion titles. Should it be the titles or should it be focus keywords of that certain page or post? I would say we use the focus keywords as that is exactly what you want this page or post to be ranked on. And this way you get the really nice internal linking strategy with all the focus keywords. So just keep it on focus keywords. Then we scroll down, you have the primary taxonomy. Here you can choose which taxonomy you want to use with the primary term feature. I'm going to show that later on. You can choose non-category tags or formats. Categories is actually the best choice here, so leave it on categories. Then we have the Slack sharing, the SEO controls, bulk editing, all is good. And then you have some custom fields. If you're using, for example, advanced custom fields, you can put in here a list of custom field names and then will be included in the page analysis of your website. Very useful if you have that. And then we have the default thumbnail of the watermark. I would keep this off. All right, then we go up and we go to the pages. And on pages, you can see that the content is actually almost exactly the same as the posts. And that also counts for the projects and also for the locations, because these are just the same kind of post types. Now, the only thing we changed in here is the title of my website. I don't want to change the title of my website, but I do want to change the titles of my website. So I'm gonna change this over there. Then we have the schema type. Again, all these things we already talked about. So this is pretty good. Then we go to attachment. In the attachment post type, you can see that we cannot configure anything because we have redirected our media to our attachment pages. So we don't want to disable this because this is actually the good one, how to go along with your attachments. If you do, however, upload a lot of attachments and you don't upload them straight to posts or pages, or you have a lot of orphaned content, then you can change this. But for most websites, this is actually perfect, especially when you have a brochure website, business website, something like that. Keep this on. For projects, again, it's all the same. Let's change the site name. We don't have projects on this website, but I'm still going to change it. And then we have all these things are actually exactly the same. All right. Locations, exactly the same. So I'm going to change that also. All right. Then we go to posts. We have categories. In the categories, we can see the archive title. And again, the site name, we can change it over there. This is the title tag for category archives and the description. Keep them all like this because, again, we can change it per category later on. Also with the tags, you can change all the tags in here. If you use tags, you might want to enable to index this. But I don't have any tags used on my website, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. This is great. All these settings are actually, you don't have to change anything except if you want to index it or no index it. I don't have tags, so there's no point in me of changing this. Also with the project categories, well, you can change the same if you want to. You can change all of this. It's actually pretty much the same as we've already discussed. Also with the project tags, absolutely the same. And then we have the locations categories, not very interesting, but also the same. You can change it if you want. And then last but not least, you have all the post types generated by your theme. You might have something else in here. If you have the type from Divi, just ignore it. You don't have to do anything with this one. Okay, well done. We have talked about all the titles and meta. Let's go to the sitemap settings in here. Well, here we can find all the settings again about our XML sitemap. Where you can find it, it's over here. If you click on it, you'll open up a new tab and you can see your XML sitemap, which is used by the search engine. Well, what do they see? Well, they have two sitemaps now, pages and local. If you have posts, you also see posts in here. If you click on pages, for example, you go into the page sitemap and you can find 7 URLs. All the pages I have created on my website. You can see how many images each page has, but also when the last modification was. This is very interesting for search engines as they want to have the latest updates inside of their search engine. Now, if you go back, you also have the local sitemap. I have location.kml. In here we have, hey, I have another office inside of New York. Great. And that is actually how the sitemap works. Now here are the links per sitemap. Don't change it, it's great. Also include the images, include the featured images. Keep that off, exclude posts or terms. You can change it in here. Then we go to the HTML sitemap. Now the HTML sitemap is very different than the XML sitemap. Why? XML sitemap is for the search engines and the HTML sitemap can be used on your own website. Here we have the shortcode. So let's copy this and put it in a page real quick. And when you scroll down to my contact page, now you can see the HTML sitemap. I still have the hello world post. That's bad, I really have to delete that. And then we can see the pages that I've all created in there. So now you know how an HTML sitemap works. Now, the question arises, is this useful to have such a sitemap on your website? Well, could be. If you have a really big website with all different kind of pages and posts and it's really big, maybe you want to have a page showing the HTML sitemap. I actually never use a sitemap HTML page to navigate through websites. If you need it, it tells me that your entire menu structure is broken if people need to use this. But maybe there's some benefit for very big websites that I don't see. So I don't know, I never use it, but maybe you want to. If you're like me and you're not gonna use this, then just disable it and then you never see it again. But if you do want to use it, you can tweak it a little bit here. Sort by the publish date, modify date, alphabetical, or the post ID. You can also show the dates and use the item titles or SEO titles. Bye-bye HTML sitemap. I'm not going to use it on this website. Then we have the different kind of post types. It's very easy. Post. You want to include it? Yes or no? I don't have any posts. If you do, of course, enable that one. Then you can have insert your custom field name if you want to include them in sitemaps. We don't, so I just exclude it. Pages, included, image custom fields. We don't use custom fields for our images, so that's okay. Attachment, we don't want this. Project, I don't have it. Locations, why not put them in there? Then the taxonomies, the same. Want to include all of these in your sitemap? Well, only if you have them. Enable it, and then it's been inserted. If you don't use them, but you do enable them, and you save your changes, this is what's going to happen. You do have a category sitemap now, but there is actually nothing in there, or only one. So that's just polluting the search engines, and you don't want that. You want to be high quality, high effort. So I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to exclude this from my sitemap. And I'm going to do this with all these things because I don't have them on my website. Then we have the local sitemap. Sure, why not? If you have different kind of offices and you're using the RankMath local, enable this one to put it in there. Very useful. Press save changes. And then we go on the left side to instant indexing. We've already talked about this one. You can put in a manual to send it right now, or you can just auto submit post types and just select pages, posts, if you have posts. And then it will be auto send up. Everything is good. You can change it. You can check it if you want it, and you get a reply, which is all great. History, you can see when it has been sent. 2 minutes ago, I've changed the contact page to put in the HTML sitemap, and it already has been sent out through the instant indexing API. Great. Let's go to the schema templates. In here, you can see nothing because I have not created schema templates. There are a lot of schema templates already available, so I don't think we ever need this, but if you want, you can make some schema into a template and put it in and use it on your posts or pages or whatever. For now, we go to our 404 monitor. Very interesting this is. In here, you can see all the 404s generated by your website. So how can you use this to your advantage? Well, they are sorted right now on the access time, but you want to take a look at the hits. So you scroll down, and if you see 46 hits, W content uploads, logo Let's Talk Mortgages Why It's Small, then you know that there is a reference to my logo, and it's very recent because this was yesterday. And at 46th time, it gives a 404. So that means something's wrong. So I have to find where this is and fix it. I don't see a refer over here. Like, this is very useful because now you can see this one. Here you can see that somebody is actually using my website as in their .local. So it means a local website, not on the internet, but offline WordPress. If you want to learn how to do it offline, check out this tutorial. I've covered it all, how to set up WordPress locally on your computer. And somebody has uploaded it, and that will generate some 404s as it's still referenced to this one. And I think this logo is not inside of here. I don't know, maybe just added it in and put in my URL, or I don't know exactly how that works. But we can safely ignore all those 404s because they are not relevant. So I can see that this guy is really filling up my 404 monitor, which is not very useful, but it's always the same file, as you can see that. So I'm just going to copy this one, copy this logo Let's Talk Why It's Small. I'm not using it anymore. So we go just over here to settings, and I'm going to exclude the path, this one, /WP content, and we're gonna save changes. Now this one will be excluded from our 404 monitor, and we can safely clear the log. Here we go. Now it's empty again, and we will see if there are some real 404 errors that I need to fix on my website. All right, next up is redirections, a very powerful tool. I use this a lot on my websites. For example, you can add in a new redirection. If you click on this one, you can actually create one. Now, if someone goes to WP admin, for example, he will be redirected to Nice Try. Now, if I want to redirect Nice Try to another page, for example, I want to redirect it to my Solid Security Pro tutorial so they can see, hey, the Nice Try, and then you can send off to YouTube. I can just do a permanent move and keep this all enabled. For this, I don't need a category, but I need to have to active, and I can schedule it, and then I can add my redirection. Now, if you have a really lot of redirections, for example, I'm an affiliate, so on my W+ Doctor website, I have a category, click on here, which is called affiliate. I'm gonna add it in, and also just changed posts, for example. Then we go back to our redirections. And in here, now you can change the category of this. So I press on edit and go with the category, change posts, for example, update redirection. Now, why is this useful? If you have a lot of redirections, you can actually go in here and you're going to select a category, show all your affiliates or all your changed post redirections. Very useful. This will save you another redirection plugin on your website. So yeah, I use this a lot. Then we go to the SEO Analyzer in here. Again, we've talked about this one. We just need to update our entire website and then we can run this again. But you also have the Competitor Analyzer. Now, this is very interesting. Enter a site URL to see how it ranks for the same SEO criteria as your website. Well, of course, they can only see the outside of the website, not the backend, but we can do a competitor analysis. So you just fill in your competitor. But what you need to do is first optimize your entire website before we're going to start the audit, because it has nothing to compare. So in this case, this website is about mortgages. I have to put in a mortgage advisory competitor, and then it can actually test them. We're going to do that later on. First, we need to SEO optimize our entire site. Let's go to status and tools in here. Here we can roll back to a previous version if the latest update caused some troubles. Well, I've never had it before, but it's possible. Just choose one older and press install it, and then it just rolls in. Great. Here we can have the beta opt-in. If you want to be a beta tester, just put it in and you get all kind of beta updates. I don't advise you to do this on a live website. Then we have the auto updates. Again, auto update plugin. And if you want to have a notification email when it's done, enable this one. I don't, and they never broke my websites, so they're good. Then we go to the database tools. In here, you can flush your SEO Analyzer data, which is very useful for us as we've already done it, but our website wasn't optimized. So I'm going to clear my SEO Analyzer, and now we have to analyze it all over again, which is great. Then we can remove RankMath transients. If you see problems with RankMath, one of its options, remove it. Not necessary right now. Purge the analytics cache. You can do that. Rebuild the index for analytics. All these things are actually, when you have problems with RankMath, you can push all these buttons to fix them. Regenerate video, fix analytics, delete internal links data, delete redirection rules, update SEO scores, recalculate them. All these things are very useful. If you, for example, move from Yoast SEO to RankMath SEO and things just didn't work out great, then you can use these tools. I've created a tutorial about this one, how to switch from Yoast SEO to RankMath. And then we are using a few of these tools as some data was not imported correctly. Then we go to the system status. In here we can see how our system is doing, what kind of versions we have. This is actually system info. You can copy it if you bump into problems and you need help from RankMath, and they will ask you to copy the system info and send it to them. Also with the error log, it's exactly the same. If you want help from RankMath, they're going to ask you, can you copy the log and send it to us? So we don't have to do anything with it right now. Then we go to import and export. If you're deploying a lot of websites, again, you can export your settings and import them, or also a CSV file for other people to work on. We've already talked about this one. And the last one is help and support. But if you click on this one, you will go to the knowledge base articles of RankMath, which is a huge database with SEO knowledge, and you can learn anything there is to learn about SEO. And they have done a really good job in presenting all that information on an easy way. So yeah, the knowledge is on the street. You only have to apply it and get rich. All right, well done. We have talked about all the settings inside of RankMath. Now it's time for the real deal. We're going to optimize some pages. I'm not going to optimize them all, but what I want to show you is the homepage and a landing page, so you know exactly how to optimize all your pages of your entire website. All right, let's dive in and start with the homepage. When you go to your pages, you will see on the right side the SEO details. You can see that none of my pages has been optimized. The NA means not available, and we still have to optimize all these pages. So it's very good that those words are in here. All right, let's go to the home. Press on edit your homepage. You can go inside of your Divi builder, or maybe you have an Elementor. That's okay. We're just gonna use the Gutenberg page over here, which works excellent. We're gonna work on the right side in here. So we click on this button over there, the RankMath button. In here, we can see everything we need. We're gonna start on the top and we're gonna move like this and down so you can see everything and how it works. When you search for anything in Google, you will see the list. This is called the search engine result page, or the SERP. Now in here, you can see that you have the favicon, an icon on your website, an image that immediately draws your attention, or the YouTube play button over there. And you can see that this is the title, this thing over here, and this is the meta description. We can change this and serve it to Google, and Google will decide if it's relevant enough. They will place it in their SERP. Now this is of course very logical, that it's all about me. But if I'm looking for example for a mortgage advisory in New York, for example, that's what this website was all about. You see again different kind of results. First we have the sponsored. These are all bought 1, 2, 3, 4 with Google Ads. They just bought their place in here. Why? Mortgages are a very product with very high profit margins. So that's why they can actually ramp up the ads. I think these ads are very expensive. Must be like $20 a click or something like that. Should be very high. One of the highest in the entire online marketing. Then we have the organic results, is what we call them. These are created by Google itself. And it's of course very interesting to be on the top of this one, like homelendingadvisor.chase.com and expertise.com. And all these guys that have done a really good job in SEO one way or the other. And then we have on the right side, we also have even more information. This is actually the best place to be in here, a mortgage advisory New York, and this is the place that is getting a lot of attention also with the 1, 2, 3 results. So they've done an excellent job in putting in their data over there. So well done, Advisors Mortgage Group in New York. But again, you can see over here in the organic results, you see the title over there and the meta description in here. Those are the things we can change within our WordPress website. So the first thing we're gonna do is not push this blue button over there. No, the first thing is we're gonna add in a focus keyword. Now the focus keyword could be more keywords, not only one, but you have to aim it at what the target audience is typing into Google. So in our case, our home is about our website. It's not a landing page, but it's about your brand. So the focus keyword on our homepage is always different than your landing pages. So this could be Matt's mortgage advisory. This should be my focus keyword for this page because it's the home page. It's very different than the other pages. That's why we're going to do 2 pages so you know exactly how it works. Now we press on edit snippet. In here, we don't want this on our homepage to appear in Google. No, we're going to delete this one. Matt's mortgage advisory. And then we're going to put in a USP that makes you very different than all your competitors. For example, perfect advice for your situation. The thing you have to keep in mind is there is a max width, like 480 pixels inside a search result. Google has set a standard for this, and there is a max amount of characters you can use. Now, the combination of that is important. Why? Well, let me show you. If I put in all W's, for example, I am not at 60 characters, but I am already at my full width. As you can see, a W takes way more space than, for example, all different kind of eyes. I can put in 60 eyes and still not be at the half of all the characters. But there is a restriction inside of how many characters you can use, because if I put in even more, you can see the 3 dots, it will be breaking off in the search result. It doesn't look good. And Google really doesn't like your title. So make sure this is in the green. For example, this is perfect for your situation. 60, 60, and this is just great. Keep it like this. The permalink is okay. And then the description. This is taken from our homepage, from the text. This is not the description we want to have. No, we want to use our focus keyword inside our description also and in your title. Again, this is different on the homepage. So Matt Mortgage Advisory, perfect advice for your situation. And then below that, the description. This sounds like a really good description. For Mortgage Advisory, it's not completely at the front, but this is okay. Again, this is also in my focus keyword. You're in perfect hand with Matt. We believe in honesty, integrity, and the best financial option for your mortgage. Or maybe you don't want to put in mortgage, as this is the second time it's in here, but you can just don't overdo it. 2 times is perfect. Then we go to social. In here we can upload a personal card for Facebook or for Twitter, but this is the standard image we've already put in our setup wizard. This sounds really good. The description can be way longer within Facebook, so keep that in mind, that you can go over here and copy this text, go to your social, paste in your description, and then you can make it even way longer because you're not restricted to the 60 characters or the pixel width. Something like this is great. Copy it and put it in Twitter also. We can use the data from Facebook tab, or we can customize it ourselves, but it's actually the same, so that's okay. Great. Once you're done, we press on this close icon over here. Excellent. Now, on the focus keyword, we now have Matt's Mortgage Advisory, but I've already ripped it apart. So we can also do Matt's and Mortgage Advisory like this. And then we're going to delete this one and we're going to put this on the front. Why? So that is the main one. Mortgage Advisory Matt. If we now scroll down, we can see here the SEO checklist. You can see that we have 2 errors in here. Now, remember, this checklist, first of all, is not the holy grail in getting #1 to Google. It's not. It's actually just a checklist to help you to think about all the SEO on your web page. So in our case, hooray, we're using it in the SEO title. That's great because this is the title and it's in here. Then we have it inside the meta description also, but it doesn't appear at the beginning of your content. That's an important one, and it doesn't appear in the content. That's a big no-no. Now, scroll down, keep that in mind, scroll down. Additional. The focus keyword is not found in subheadings like H2, H3, H4. That's a bad one, we need to fix that. You can also add an image with your focus keyword in the alt text, very important. And your keyword density is 0 because it's nowhere inside of the text. You are linking to other resources on your website, which is great. You haven't used this focus keyword before, also great. And we can use Content AI to optimize the page. This is we can use that of course with our free credits, but it's also a sneaky upsell to sell you more credits. Yeah, okay. Then we have the title readability, which is great, and the content readability, and it contains images and videos, which is great, but it can be a little bit more. That's why it's not green. All right, then we go to the next option. In here, there is the advanced option. The advanced option, we talked about this, we want to keep it on index. Don't change it, only if you don't want to get it indexed in these search engines. Then we have the advanced robust meta. This is all good, don't change it, this is great. Canonical URL, we're not using this one right now. This means if you have another post or page which actually have the exact same content but on a different place, for example different kind of languages, that's what it's used most for, then you can put it in over there. We don't have that on this website. If you're using with different kind of languages, it will be automatically put in there if you use the right system to translate. But for now we can leave this empty. Then you can change the breadcrumb title of your homepage to something else, but this is okay. We don't want to redirect this entire page. That's fine, just keep it like this. Over here we can have the schema markup. We don't need this on this page. and at the end the social, but we've already talked about this one. All right, once you have pressed on update, we go inside of the page to edit it. Then we are here and we can see all this content, but we don't see our keyword inside of this content. Should you change this? Well, yes, not that hard because it's a home page, but on a landing page, we're gonna do it very different. I'm gonna show you in just a few minutes. So the home page, what do we need to do? We can change the content and, for example, change this slider to add in our brand name. You always need to look at your website from the perspective of the website visitor, your target audience. And I don't think it's necessary to put in here Matt's Mortgage Advisory, because this is just way better. Ask us first time property purchases. This is just way better. But we can put it in over here. So, like this. Matt Mortgage Advisory helped more than 3,000 people. Now I have put in my Matt Mortgage Advisory inside of this text, and it still reads great. Now this is just a paragraph text, so let's change this to a heading, H2. Change the design back to what it was. Great, now we have an H2 with my focus keyword inside of my title. All right, scroll down. Then I'm going to put it in sneaky in some of these text. Matt Mortgage Advisory is proud of our smiling culture. There we go. Over here we pay for referrals. Just add it in over there. Now we're gonna change these reviews to reflect our entire brand name. It's so easy. Matt's Mortgage Advisory. Also in here we go. Just put it in over there. And then we can have these things, which are great. And I've also put it in over here, which is great. And put it also in the footer, so it's on every single page. That's great. Now, also within the Divi Builder, you'll see over here a Rank Math button. Now you can see that we are green. Hooray! And we have 86 out of 100, which is a very good score. And you can go, of course, for the 100, but this is actually pretty good. We'll still have two errors. We need to add an image with your focus keyword as the alt text. And we can use Content AI. All right. We don't gonna use Content AI on this post because it's just the home page, not important. We're gonna use this on the landing page. Very interesting. We're gonna add an image with our focus keyword as alt text. All right. Then we just scroll down and we find a image. Let's just add it in the slider, how much you can borrow. Let's go to the background in here. I'm gonna change this one, which is this big one. I'm gonna change the alt text to Matt's Mortgage Advisory. And I'm gonna press upload the image, press save. All right, let's get back to the score. And we still see the additional error, add an image with your focus keyword as alt text. This is not working exactly the way how I wanted within Divi because these are all backgrounds. I used the images only as backgrounds and not as an image. To show you how this works, if I just go in here, I'm just gonna add in an image like this, and the image is gonna be my logo. For example, the white one. The alt text is Matt Mortgage Advisory logo. Upload it, change the sizing of this thing, and save it. Well, it really doesn't want to work with my image as the focus keyword as alt text. So we've put it in there, and it's actually in there, but it's not completely working great with Divi, and I don't know why that is, but it's really in here. Well, we're just going to safely ignore this as we have already put it in our background images, and also this footer image has the alt text inside of it. But now you know how you can optimize it. Remember, 86 out of 100 is actually pretty good. When we now go to our pages, you will see that the homepage has a score of 86 out of 100 and the keyword is in there. Well, remember, the homepage is just the homepage, very different than your landing pages. Now let's optimize a true landing page. Here we have the benefits for first-time home buyers. This sounds like a really great SEO post. Let's dive into this one. Here we are. This entire page is about benefits for first-time home buyers. I've created this to be a full white header setting, so this should be a H1. Now, the first thing we need to do is, of course, click on Rank Math over here, and we're gonna create a focus keyword for this page. The focus keywords for this page could be benefits. Benefits is one, but we need first-time home buyers. And then the first-time home buyers is actually the most important one. Great. Then we press on Edit Snippet over there. Then we create benefits for first-time home buyers, Met Mortgage Advisory. What do we see? It is too long. Just 1 pixel, so we're just gonna remove this one. And then it still fits. I would say if I have to choose between this one and it's been broken off in the search engine or this one, I would choose this one. It doesn't look exactly the way the brand is working, but that's okay. Just keep it like this. Then we go to permalink and we can see that this is just some dude called it just benefits. Why? Make sure that in your permalink is your entire focus keyword. So benefits for first-time home buyers. Now that's a good SEO title. And also the size is just great. Don't make it any longer. This is excellent. Make sure that it reflects your focus keyword. And then the description. For example, this description, when you are buying your first home, there are some great benefits for you. In this article, we will dive into all the benefits for first-time home buyers. This is exactly our focus keywords. Now, this sounds pretty good. So we're going to use this also for the social. Here we can add it in and you can add in even more text. It's a little bit less relevant for search engines, but it is also good for when people are sharing your page. All right, let's save this. Then we see immediately, then we're going from 70 of 100. So we're on the right way. Then we still need all these things inside of our content because it's not inside of our content. So we go to additional and we can see subheadings, image, no links, and content AI. Okay, let's do that one. First, we're going to add in our focus keyword into the content of our text. So the first paragraph is great, and let's put it in over there. Start experiencing the benefits for first-time home buyers. Boom, here we go. Now we have put in our text inside of our first paragraph. All right, make sure that in your titles you can see also your focus keyword. For example, this is control your comfort, find your place among friends, leverage your assets, tax benefits. All right, let's change this tax benefits to, again, the tax benefits for first-time home buyers. Smart. All right, and then we can add in, of course, more content later on. But now we have put it in over there. All right, let's save it. And then if we scroll down, we can see that additional, we have now 5 errors. The focus keyword is in the subheadings. Great. An image with your focus keyword as alt text. We should do that, and we can. So we're just gonna add in an image over there as a first-time home buyer. This sounds like a really good first-time home buyer. Oh, first-time mortgage buyer advice. Yeah, let's change this to the benefits for first-time home buyers and upload it. Then we're going to change the sizing, of course, and save it. Now, this is of course an example. In a real website, I would put it on the right side of this text, for example, and then we could have the real great text. As you can see, our score went up because the focus keyword was found in image alt attributes. Excellent job. Now it works straight out of the box. So then we can see that the keyword density is high. The focus keyword in combination appears 17 times, which is a problem. RankMath is telling us we have too little text and too much of our focus keyword inside of this text. So we need some text, a paragraph even more, without actually using the keyword. So I'm just going to add it in over there. And of course, we need to change the text inside of it. But the technical analysis is now that the keyword density is 2.35 and then it's 20 times, and that is okay. Make sure that your keyword doesn't fill your entire content, or else RankMath will say, hey, that's a little bit too much. It might get a little bit spammy for the search engine, so make sure that it's okay. Excellent. Then the URL is long, kudos, no outbound links were found, linked to external resources. Very important because search engines don't like a dead end. So we're going to add it in over there. We just go over here. Then we have some tax benefits. Consult with your tax advisor. I, of course, have friends everywhere, so I'm going to link out to my friended tax advisor. Friended tax advisor with high referrals rankmath.com. And it's going to open a new window. Add it in over there and press save. Now you can see you're linking to other resources on your website, which is great. At least one external link with do follow found in your content. We went up from 70 to 81. Excellent job. All right, now the only thing we need to do is, the title readability. At the title readability, we see two errors. We have your title doesn't contain a power word and your SEO title doesn't contain a number. It has been proven that these two things really makes people click more on your title. So that's why they actually put it in there. We can use it, but what is actually a power word? There is a list of power words for even different languages. In English, we have an absolutely huge list of power words. For example, fortune, free, fulfill, folly, funny, hack, hoax, immediately, increase, irresistible, lame, lick, love, nest egg, nightmare, outlaw. There are so many words. And on the RankMath website, you will also see words in different kind of languages. But let's go with the power words for our title. We can see we also need a number. Well, the number is easy. You can just go in here and make this title 7 benefits for first-time home buyers. And then we just need a power word. Let me see. Astounding, also a good one. All right, 7 astounding benefits. 7 astounding benefits for first-time home buyers. And then we can't use our title anymore. All right, let's just remove it because I want to rank on the top. Let's then just use mortgage like this. 7 astounding benefits for first-time home buyers. That sounds like a really great one. Also added in the permalink. 7 benefits for first-time home buyers. And then we can see over here that we only have one error. Use Content AI to optimize the post. Yeah, and content readability. You don't seem to be using Table of Contents plugin. That is true because Divi doesn't have that natively. Maybe in Divi 5, I think Divi 6, or we can just buy a plugin to do that inside of our pages. However, this page is not that big. So do we actually need a table of content in this page? It would not be logical for my readers. So I'm not going to do this in here. But if you have blog posts that dive in really deep into the content, you actually need it. But then you can just use the table of contents blog from RankMath and just put it in Gutenberg, and then you're all good and create your pages in Gutenberg. If you use Elementor Pro, there is also just a module you can drag and drop inside of your content and you're all good. All right, then the only thing we need to do over here is use Content AI to optimize this post. Well, let's click on this one and then we go over here and we can see that we still have what? Minus 20 credits? No, we don't have enough credits to use this one because I've already used it up in the beginning of this tutorial. That's too bad, and we have to wait for another 24 days when we get some new credits. Now, when I save this and I go back to pages, you can see you just changed the slug of a page and RankMath automatically created a redirection. That's true because I added in a 7 benefits for first-time home buyers. So that's actually great. Now, if we go to quick edit, you can see I've changed this and changed the title with a power word and a number. So this is actually a great post that we can use within Google. All right, a question I frequently get is, do we need to optimize every single page? And for example, the About Us and the Contact page. Well, on the About Us page, we can of course optimize it, but I would do it in this way. Then I will start with the focus keyword, which is just About Us. That's everything there is in here. And we're gonna edit the snippet so that it looks good in the search engines. About Us, Matt's Mortgage Advisory. And then I just created some kind of description that fits within my website, and which is great, but it's not completely SEO optimized because you will never rank on the word About Us, and you don't want that actually. But we want to do this, and we also can go to social and change all these things, and then we're gonna just save this page. Will you ever get above the score 60 with these pages? I don't think so, but that's also not the point. Also, the Contact page, let us optimize it real quick. You go into your RankMath settings in here, and the focus keyword is just Contact. We're going to edit the snippet. Something like this. If you have any questions, you can contact us by sending an email, calling us, send us a WhatsApp message, or come to the office. We'd love to chat. Actually, you need to think about how does this look on the Google result page if people search on contact Matt's Mortgage Advisory. And then they will see this. If you have any questions, you can contact us by sending email. This is actually great. So we're just going to save this. And we don't need to optimize this entire page as this is just a contact page. And you will never rank on the word contact, but you will rank on the word contact and then your brand name of your business. So keep that in mind. Always optimize for your target audience. If we then go back to our pages, you can see this. I have optimized the About Us page, the contact page, the home page, and the benefits of first-time home buyers. Now, with these 3 pages optimized, we can start the analyzation. However, you actually need to optimize everything before you can start analyzing. But let me show you how this works. Go to RankMath SEO, SEO Analyzer. Then we're going to start the analyzer, and we can see an 85 out of 100. We've passed 24 of the 29 tags. This is way better than that it was before. What can we improve? Well, the most common keywords found on our homepage are mortgage. Well, that's exactly what we do. Mortgage advisory and math. So we can still change this a little bit on our homepage. We don't have an H1 heading on our homepage. True, because we use those sliders. All right, we can change this if we want to do that. We have H2, we have image alt, we have keywords, we have everything. We don't have a site tagline and we also don't have a favicon. I'm going to show you where you can fix this. You go to Appearance, Customize, open a link in a new tab. Then you can go over here to General Settings, Site Identity, and we go to the tagline first. Matt's Mortgage Advisory, great. And this is the site icon. So then we can see a favicon in the search results. So we click on this one. And if you don't have one, you can create one. Because if I use now this one, my logo, then we need to, well, it's going to look like this. Or we can crop it just a little bit. This is not ideal. I probably should make a dedicated favicon with LTM, for example. Or Matt's Mortgages Advisory, LMA, for example, to put it in over there on your browser. That would be really great. But for now, you know how it works, and that's most important. Right, it's published. Let's close it. Then we go back to the advisory. Then we need to restart the SEO Analyzer. And then we have an 85. And we can see over here that now we have 1 page and 3 pages with no focused keywords. Yeah, we need to do that. Then we have a mobile snapshot, which looks absolutely amazing. And all these things are great. But we can also minify JavaScript. That's because I don't have a speed up plugin installed on my website. If you want to speed up your website, which is very important also for SEO, follow this tutorial about how to speed up your WordPress website. And I'll show you step by step the best speed up premium plugin that's in the market right now. And you should really use that on your website. Whatever you have, a Divi website, Elementor website, I don't care about the speed of your hosting company, the price of your hosting company. You need a caching plugin ASAP. All right, and then everything is perfectly. Let's go to the competitor analyzer to show you how this works in competition with your own website. For that, we need, of course, a competitor in the mortgage. What do we have? We have the mortgagewealthadvisor.com. This sounds great. I need to copy this link, so I go to their website. Then I go in here and I'm going to copy this URL, copy it, go back to my SEO Analyzer and put it in over there. And then I'm going to press Start Audit. Here we go, and let RankMath do all the magic. And then we can see that they're even lower than me. Their homepage doesn't even have a title. And it's true. Look at this. It doesn't even have a title. It's just a homepage. That means that we can actually try to rank above them. If we can see how this website is built up, we can actually do this. If I was a mortgage advisory in New York and I had an office, I would definitely try to rank on this, because when I see this, I see, yes, opportunity. Because we can see mortgage, we can see all these things, no even alt attributes, keywords. And then we have 21 internal links, 6 external. The title is so bad. Mobile snapshot, of course. All right, so all these things gives us a little bit of an idea how this website works. The most important thing to realize this is when you're analyzing this, you can see H2 headings, no H1 tag. We can all change this. We can all outrank him on technical SEO, and that's exactly how it should work. They have internal ranks. The only thing that I think that is putting them up so high on this should be external links, because link building is actually really important for your SEO. I'm gonna do a dedicated video about link building so you really know how this works. If I helped you out with this video, hit that like button. And if you have any questions or you just want to say thank you, drop it down in the comments. I'll always reply. And make sure to check out this video to secure your website really thoroughly, as you don't want to get hacked.